and he was a gentleman as far as the business was concerned.
Let me ask you, brother. Since you've been gone for a while, I know you still had an eye on what's going on, keeping up to date or trying to do your best to keep up with what's going on. Who do you say right now is doing a thing in the community, hands down, especially when they're getting into debates? I would say brothers like Jabari and Garfield, and you might say, oh, you're seeing Zion Lexx and a few people. Who would you say is doing a thing right now and nobody touching this individual?
I don't know about not being touched. Everybody getting touched. Pause. Everybody's being touched. It's like the Vatican out there. However, what I will say is, if this was the NBA, not the Six-Man Award, what I would say is the most improved player, in my opinion, would be Zion Lexx, in my opinion. I think and that's just to give the brother his due. I think he's way more refined. I think he got a lot more patience. Cause Zion hothead, and he can get mad about it. I don't mean no disrespect. I hope he don't. But
I agree. I agree with you. I agree.
He hot-headed, man, and I think I did that.
Yeah.
He created a Frankenstein. We was trying to get him, to toughen up. Not that he's a punk. We talking about the information.
Right.
To be a little more aggressive. And then the man became too damn aggressive. I remember he was saying, I didn't expect y'all to deal with it like this. I was coming into this just due to knowledge. And we're like, nah, some of this is entertainment. There's a certain level of bravado. But then he took it over the top. I'm like, so I think he finally found the right medium. But I think he's his best when he doesn't deal with it on that level. Like, we do the aggression, but that's not for everybody. I think he teaches at his best when he don't get involved with all the chaos and he just really focus on the information. I think he gets my most improved player of the year award, and I don't mean that to undermine him like he a scrub. He always was smart, but I like the way he presented his ideas today.
So hold on. Let me ask you, man. I know you are not putting Zion Lexx over Brother Jabari.
Jabari's not in a position to be most improved. He just came on the scene.
That's true.
I mean, he didn't just start teaching, but as far as the House of Consciousness is concerned, I believe he's still relatively new to a lot of us who didn't know his work prior. Zion, he was already introduced way before Jabari.
All right, hold on. Hold on, Polight. Somebody just called in. I don't know if he heard this, but shalom to my brother Zion Lexx. He's on the line right now. Brother, did you hear that powerful bill that Polight gave you, brother? Shout out?
No, I missed that. Somebody told me to call in. That's why I called in.
Yeah, Polight on the line right now. He gave you a powerful shout out. I asked him about something about who do you think is the most improved, member right now in the House of Consciousness. And the brother said definitely he got to give you that edge right now. So I don't know, Polight, say that again and why you give it to Zion.
Yeah, I just basically said I would give him the most improved player of the year. He asked me, what about Jabari? I made a basketball analogy prior, but he asked me, what about Jabari? And I said, well, Zion was introduced way before Jabari. Not that Jabari just started his work. He'd been on his path, but many of us were introduced to Jabari through Sinetta TV as far as this platform is concerned. So he's still relatively new to us. Whereas Zion, you've been here longer, and we've been able to bear witness to shortcomings, pitfalls, not necessarily shortcomings in scholarship, more in demeanor, presentation, anger, poise, patience, that, not necessarily the information in question at all. And so once we got through those pitfalls in character, as far as people being distracted, not that these are even bad aspects of your character, but people being distracted from what you actually have to offer. Once we got past that, your new demeanor, your poise, the way you present your information right now to me is a lot more impressive. And I was telling Sanetta that, some of the bravado that many of us present our information with on his platform may not suffice for you to facilitate in the same way. And since this, I don't want to say the evolution, I'm sure you've been kicking knowledge like that elsewhere. It's when we get on side platform, it's a little contentious. So we try to find, pardon the word, try. So we look for our barometer for how aggressive we go. And it takes some time to fill that out, you know, because we wondering, is someone disrespecting me? Are they trying to G-check me, or are they teaching? So, you know, we all looking to find this barometer. And so that's tricky. But once we find our range, then it's like, okay, now we can just teach. So I was just saying, as far as I'm concerned, as far as everybody that I see on the platform, I said I give you a great deal of props, and I would say that you would be the most improved player in a basketball analogy. Because, hey, Kobe was on the bench, you know, Steph Curry was on the bench, and these people wound up becoming some of the greatest players we ever bear witness to. So it doesn't mean people can't have shortcomings or pitfalls. You know, that was because they had to learn the leap. Not so much that they ain't already had the talent. They just had to figure out, how do I thrive in this particular venue? Because you're used to thriving in your own venues amongst different people of a different class with a different criteria. So once that hurdle was accomplished, now we seeing like, man, brother been brilliant, as far as I'm concerned. You know, so I know people want me to trip, but I ain't said tripping. You know, I'm with Kenneth. But brother, you put it in pen, so it wouldn't be real scholarship if we can't accredit people for the genuine job that they do when they write. So, you know, you putting it out there. And like I said, I love Jabari. I love all the other brothers that's doing their thing. Got love for Tazari. Everybody that's on the platform contributing to opening people's minds and hearts, because they're not watching this. Who knows what people would be doing? So we encouraging people to read. We're promoting literacy in the community. We're promoting research, study, methodology. So I salute everybody that's on Sunday platform. But I definitely got to give you kudos, your love, and your respect. And everybody knows we went through our wars. We went through several contentious scenarios. Right. You feel me? But on this level of scholarship, and people don't know, you and I talk outside of this. People don't even know you and I have been talking prior to this conversation, prior to me even being on this platform right now. People don't know.
I was just going to say that, right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's love. If we really about this knowledge, and we really feel that at the inception of many of our doctrines, there's some form of love or sentiment of love that's promulgated through that knowledge that we're supposed to express to our own brothers and sisters. If this is true, it should be inevitable that we would be brothers anyway or find each other at some point or the other, no matter how contentious it gets. If what we say that we believe in or confide in is legitimate, we will legitimize or actualize that information through brotherhood.
Let's hear from our brother Zion. Let's hear from Zion.
All right, let me first say this. A lot of people wanted to count you out because of a lot of things that have played out in the last 2 years. I will go on record right now, and I'm sure Sonata can co-sign.
I remember, that's right.
Whenever your name was brought up, I always said, don't do that. Don't count that brother out.
Facts. That's true.
We all have things that, when we look at from different vantage point, may be a letdown to some. But I said, nonetheless, I think that brother has a brilliant mind. I think that brother's contribution is very valuable. And my differences with that brother and what he teaches does not stain or take away from the brilliance of his mind. I've always tried to separate my personal issues with you from the way I see or view your contribution as being valuable to the community. And I want to take the opportunity to let the community know that contrary to what y'all may be thinking, a lot of times when you saw me and this brother bang, and I mean, we definitely bang, don't get it twisted. We have definitely banged. I have always been one to call that brother a month or two, maybe 3 months later, and apologize where I have felt that I did wrong. So there was a time when I made some very nasty statements about the brother's family, generally speaking, and I called that brother. He can tell you right now. I called him on the strength, and I apologize as a brother and as a man. I apologize, and he chose to hear me out and to, I believe, to a certain extent, even accept my apology. And me have been able to move on from then. And recently we've actually talked a lot. He had made a trip to New York just last week to bury one of his brothers, and we spoke the evening that he spoke. So, I mean, I got a lot of love for Brother Polight. I'm looking forward to Brother Polight at some point returning to the HOK. I think that some of the most glued to Sonda the TV events have always been events where my name and Sonda and Polight have been on the bill. I think that the community still has a great deal of a desire to see you and I get in the ring one day. And I think that at the end of the day, no one's contribution is invalid unless it is not contributed. we all have a contribution to make. And I'll be the first to go on record to say that your contribution is valuable. And for that reason alone, because I love to be challenged, and I think that you are at the highest of the totem pole. I've always said this. I've said that Polight is at the highest of the totem pole. I've said that I come from an era where I bullied the bullies. A lot of that was ego, but a lot of that was always truth. I've never chased a weak opponent. I've come after Polight because I always saw Polight as being at the very top of the totem pole, as I still do. And I'm telling you right now, I still pose a challenge. I still would love to get in the ring with Brother Polight and really debate and get to the core issue of some issues that are troubling the community. I think that the brother is brilliant, and I think that to see him and I in this setting would be something different.
Mm-hmm. Real talk, real talk.